Planning for a road trip is usually a lot of fun, but unfortunately, many of us overlook some very important preparations in that planning process. My guest today is South Carolina personal injury attorney George Sink of George Sink Injury Lawyers, and he's going to talk with us about some of the often overlooked considerations. So George, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Cindy.
Well, George, we're in the last month of summer, and many families are planning that last vacation before the kids go back to school. So talk with us about some of the things that you recommend they consider when planning their trip to ensure it's both a happy and a safe one.
Well, it helps to know the route, the area, any dangerous problems that may be out there, even the weather, for example. And we have apps on cell phones now that can look at routes and spot traffic congestion. So things like that are very helpful. Matter of fact, I have that kind of app on the iPhone. You can check out those sort of weather or those traffic problems ahead of time. So it pays to look ahead and know where you're going and anticipate the problems ahead of time.
Well, George, what kind of vehicle maintenance would be most important to check before a long trip?
Well, oil change. Make sure your oil's been changed regularly. And tires are my bugaboo. When I was a student, I would blow out at least a tire a week because we got the cheap ones. You can't really I can't tell you how difficult it is to be stranded out someplace and the tire blows out. So make sure some qualified person looks at the tires, look for the pressure. It's usually different in the front and the back tires. If there's cracked or other things. So take a look at those tires. That's a big deal.
All important. But for me, my cell phone is my most important safety equipment. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to get out of the car and try to change a tire. I'm going to pull out my cell phone and call AAA. But what if you're traveling to a state where cell phone use while driving is prohibited and you're stopped while talking on your cell phone? Are you likely to be ticketed based on the cell phone laws of that state, or are you only required to follow the cell phone laws of your home state, which could be different?
It's the same as if you committed a murder in that state. You'd be liable under the laws of that state. So luckily, cell phone use is not prohibited in any state as such, but they do in 9 states prohibit you from putting a cell phone to your ear in driving. You can't do that in 9 states. In about 30 others, they prohibit distracted driving. But what will get you home and what gets you around that is a little device that everybody has. You can put in your ear, and by doing this, you can talk to people hands-free. For example, I was in California recently, and they have that law. All you have to do is put on a hands-free device, and you can use the cell phone in that state, but you have to know that. And you should know your distracted driving laws, too, because in some states, they are prohibiting texting while you're driving, which is really not a good idea under any circumstances.
Before we sign off here, if someone wants to reach you with specific questions, how can they do that?
Call me hands-free at 1-800-849-SYNC. That's 849-SYNC. That's toll-free. Or you can get us on the internet at www.synclaw.com.
Very good. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Cindy.
This is Cindy Speaker for State Law TV.